Good morning and welcome to People's Voice program. Today we are talking about a topic vital to every citizen, fundamental rights. To guide us through this important subject, we are joined by two distinguished guests. Okay, first, a lawyer of Legal Draftsman Department, Ms. Tejaswini Phillips, here to explain the legal framework of these rights. Vanakkam Tejaswini.
Vanakkam Shyam.
And a human rights activist and legal practitioner, Mrs. Ishra Farooq, Secretary of the Human Rights Commission, here to discuss the practical challenges and solutions. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
Situations where the fundamental rights violated.
Good morning, Miss. May I come in?
Yes, Kalpani, have a seat.
Tell me, Kalpani, what's the matter? I wrote an article about some bad things of government ministers. It's all true.
But Kalpani, this is so dangerous. We have faced some challenges before. So I suggest you should not publish this.
But Miss, people have right to know freedom of speech is a right.
If you need to publish this, you should ask it from our madam.
Madam, our economist told me to take permission for this article. She told me, Kalpani, if you publish this article, there will be many trouble. Madam, why don't we publish this? We have a right. Some things are not allowed. Be careful because we faced many challenges before. I really sorry, Kalpani, I can't accept this article. Okay, madam.
Good morning, ma'am. May I come in?
Okay, take a seat.
I'm here for the interview, ma'am.
You have good qualifications, but this job is usually for men.
Why does that matter, ma'am? I can do the work well.
We think men are better for this kind of works.
It's unfair, ma'am. Treat me equally. I have the right to be considered without any discrimination.
Sorry, we prefer male candidates only.
Okay, ma'am.
Thank you both for joining us. So I will first engage with Ms. Tejaswini. So Tejaswini, what are the fundamental rights and why are they important in a democratic society like Sri Lanka?
Okay, Shyama, that was a great question. I would like to break this question into two main parts. First, of what fundamental rights are, and secondly, of why it is important for the democracy. Fundamental rights are the basic protections and freedoms that are enshrined in the Constitution, which are given for the people. It is important because it gives them the right and the freedom to religious thought, conscience, freedom from torture, and many other basic things that are required for people to live with. And now, why is it important for a democracy? People should have the ability to live freely and to act in society without fear. Only if their fundamental rights are protected can they participate in society with a lot of freedom and have individual autonomy. This is why it is important.
Mrs. Ishra, in your experience, what are the most common challenges people face when trying to enforce their fundamental rights?
Thank you for your question. I think in my experience, the first main challenge is lack of awareness. Means the people in the society, especially in the rural society, they even don't know what are the fundamental rights they have. Therefore, I think if it's going to violate, they doesn't know it's their fundamental right or not. And another major reason that I think is lack of access to justice. Means when we are going to file in a fundamental case in a court, we have to file within the 1 month. I think this is a short term and this is a major problem in nowadays. And also when it's come to we are going to file a case against a authority like police or government officials or army, something like those people, the people think it's going to affect them and they fear about the threatness. Therefore, the people, if their fundamental rights are violated by someone, they are not going to ask from the court. And when it comes to the court procedure, when it comes to the lawyer's fees, it's a very expensive. Therefore, the people struggle in that. And another thing is language barriers. The court procedures are most in the courts are happens in the language of English. When the people are from the Tamil or Sinhala, they don't know what are the things happen in the court about their fundamental rights.
Okay, now we have a caller from Colombo. Good morning, Hajara. Now you can ask the question.
Good morning. I want to ask a question from Mrs. Hishra. Madam, can you explain the main reasons why fundamental rights such as freedom of expression, equality and personal liberty are being violated in Sri Lanka?
Thank you for your question. And I think in my experience, the basic thing is lack of awareness, because the people, they don't know about the fundamental rights, if it violate or not. And when it comes to the powerful authorities, they are something do bad to these things. However, the lack of awareness is the main reason I suggest.
Okay, Ms. Tejaswi, what are the key fundamental rights guaranteed under the Sri Lankan Constitution?
In Sri Lankan Constitution, the fundamental rights are enshrined under the 3rd chapter, starting with the freedom of thought, conscience and religion, moving on to freedom from cruel treatment, to the right to equality, and then the protection from arbitrary arrest, the right to information, the right to a free trial. A number of fundamental rights are enshrined by our Constitution.
Okay, I have a small request from you, Mrs. Hishra. Can you share a real life example or case where someone's fundamental rights were violated?
Thank you. I think in 2003, in Ratuspura area, there was a fundamental rights case. A factory was polluting the people's drinking water, but when it comes to the court procedure, the court was give a delayed decision and it's violate the people's of their fundamental rights.
Okay, Ms. Tejaswini, how can a citizen enforce their fundamental rights through the Supreme Court under Article 126?
That's a vital question, Shyama. If you take our Constitution, Article 17 and Article 126 speak about the infringement of fundamental rights. If you take Article 17, there is a right to remedy, and Article 126 speaks about how you can get the remedy from the Supreme Court. You should file a petition within 1 month of the infringement of your right, and the court is mandated to give you a judgment within 3 months. But that doesn't really happen in Sri Lanka in the first place. And you can institute court action only for rights violated by executive action or administrative action. That is, as of now, the legal framework.
So we have one more new caller from Nora Elia. Good morning, Sahara.
Good morning. Can I ask question from Tejaswini?
Yes, of course, you can.
Who is responsible for making sure people know their rights when they are violated?
That's an important question, Sahara. Who must take the responsibility of giving public awareness? It is the state, in my opinion. State must take the responsibility to make sure that people know of their rights. And it's not only the state, non-government organizations, civil societies, legal practitioners, all of them must take the responsibility to make sure every individual knows what their rights are.
Okay, Mrs. Sisra, how do you see the role of the police and other authorities in protecting and violating these rights?
Thank you. It's a good question. The police and the government officers, who are the people, they want to protect the people's fundamental rights, but when it comes to the real life, it's an opposite thing, because the police are in the custody, they give torture to the people, and sometimes they arrested the people without the reason. These are the things I think, and I'm not saying that all the polices are doing these such things, but in really some are good, but when it comes to the most of the people in police, they are doing these things.
Okay, Ms. Tejaswini, are there any limitations or restrictions placed on fundamental rights under the Constitution?
Yes, there is a very big restriction that is seen in Article 15. Article 15 lists out reasons such as national security, national economy, public order and morality. If the government make rules to uplift those, and if the fundamental rights are violated, it's not a problem, and that there is a clear restriction.
Okay, Mrs. Hishra, what reforms or actions do you suggest to make fundamental rights more accessible and meaningful to ordinary citizens?
Thank you. I think for the reforms, firstly we have to give awareness to the people in the schools, university or in the public places. And the second thing, we have to give legalized system, because the people are lack access to the justice. And the other thing I suggest, we have to extend the time period of filing a fundamental case. That's in now 1 month, we have to extend that. And the another thing, we have to give the people who are in power, like the authorities people, they have to be accountable to the people. And the suggesting in the last thing, I think we have to amend the constitution for the special things like environmental rights and the privacy. Thank you.
We must protect fundamental rights in our country. All persons take the responsibility of this duty. So, your right, your power. Signing off. I'm Shamba Bandaranaik.
Fundamental rights are the backbone of any democratic society. Fundamental rights allows people to know their liberties and autonomy and allow them to engage in society freely. What are the situations in which fundamental rights are violated? First, arbitrary arrest without charges or detaining them without any proper reason. They are the right to equality, the right to know the reason of being arrested are violated. Secondly, when media is suppressed, when the government blocks social media, or when governments put regulations on social media, the rights of the people of freedom of expression, freedom of thought is violated. And thirdly, when there are practices, when they discriminate people, there are discriminatory practices which undermine the right to equality in people. And fourthly, when there is delayed justice, when fundamental rights cases are petitioned in the Supreme Court, it takes years to give a judgment. This delayed justice itself undermines the rights of the people. What can you do? You should know about your rights. You should respect the rights of others. You should engage in public awareness. When you see a community and when their rights are being violated, it's your responsibility to educate them about their rights and to do something about that infringement. It's very important to educate school-going children about their rights. From school-going children to adults, everybody must be educated of their fundamental rights. Your rights are your power.